Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our third show. Right? With the Palmer Brothers. Frank and Greg over here behind me. And they're on West Main Street and they have a lot of information to share. They start,
useless information.
huh?
Useless information.
Yeah. No, but the premise, I want them to start off with talking about themselves and how they started and how they got interested in doing this and whatever applies to it, and then where your businesses are, and yeah, that's it pretty much. And because they have an interesting story, and not only that, they're really good at doing what they do, I think. And so I think you will too. So, and then you're welcome to, after they do their presentation and everything, they'll tell you they're ready to look at what you brought and give you an idea of what it might be worth. Okay? So again, I'm Jan Neokas and I'm very sorry. I was late. Some people were later than me, so that was good. So that's good. Thank you, guys. Okay, go ahead. Introduce yourselves. Oh, wait a minute. I want to tell everybody, Peter Elder is taping this, and he tapes all of our programs, and they go on YouTube. And I was just telling this lady, if you go on YouTube and you type in Webster Museum Historical Society, you'll see the programs. Now, this particular one will take a while for him to edit and get it on, but you'll see past programs too. Thank you.
Thank you very much, we appreciate it. So we like to always start off just saying thank you to Jan and the museum here for giving us the opportunity to kind of show who we are and show off our business for Webster, because we just got a small little shop in the village next to BC's Chicken Coop, which is right across from the new Guida's Pizza, right across from Arrow's Kitchen. And we started off just doing jewelry, coins, etc. We kind of expanded our store back and back and back, got into the antiques and collectibles, took the side over next to us, and now we just kind of do it all. So
he's lying. He's been collecting these things since
we've been doing it forever, but we just finally have a chance to display the collectibles that we picked up over the years. So
he's been hoarding since '94, and now he finally put it in the store for everybody else to see.
Yeah, we were.
But yeah, no, we love this stuff.
Yeah, tell them we used to go down to the flea markets in Avon.
Well, we still do. I still love to go down in Avon and Clarence and walk around, and I see the people that we've known for 30 years still hustling and doing what they do. And I love to see what they actually found, you know what I mean, recently, because it's getting harder and harder to find really unique things. But
and collectibles are very generational, and it's an ever-changing interest. Most people.
What's popular today, you know?
What's popular and what's hot right now are things that people remember as a kid.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's
nostalgia.
Exactly, and the people that are spending money are people in their 40s, early 50s, and they're buying back the things they had when they were younger or the things that they remember. So, I mean, I'm particularly interested in old toys, comic books, pop culture, advertising items, things of that nature. And a lot of people, they want to buy back the action figures and the toys that they had that they remember now back in the 70s, 80s-ish. And that stuff's hot. It's real hot. It's a lot of value in comic books, a lot of value in advertising items like Coca-Cola, Zippo lighters, old lunch boxes. It's crazy. So I mean, some people are like, how do you make money doing that? Well, we don't make a lot of money on the collectibles. We do a large volume with our gold, silver, coins, etc. But with the collectibles, you wouldn't believe the values of some of the pieces out there. If you follow an auction company called Hakes, they do about $1 million every 3 months in auction sales. And it's all on Star Wars figures and collectibles, and it's amazing. Old keychains, key fobs, advertising items.
Stuff we threw away.
Absolutely. And that's what makes them collectible. Yeah, that's what makes them worth what they're worth now.
garbage back then, it's hot right now.
Yeah.
I mean, comic books, they made sure that they used the worst possible paper because it wasn't made to be held onto. They wanted to go as cheap as possible. So comic books that survive today, I mean, from the 1940s and 50s are priceless. It's amazing.
Yeah, and even like in the 30s, if they had the flu, they threw it out and burned it because they thought, you know, you could pass it on by the paper.
Oh.
So they threw it out, they burned it, and now it's, you find one of those and you're in decent money.
Yeah. So we started doing Avon Flea Market. That was our first thing back in the 80s probably, right?
Yeah.
Grew up on Canisius Lake in the summers. We're from Penfield originally. I now live in Webster, but we grew up on Canisius Lake in the summers. Our parents had a cottage out there, and we were religiously there at 6 o'clock in the morning every Sunday. And we started selling, at the Avon Flea Market probably when I was about 13. You were probably about 15, 16. And I mean, we would come home $500-600, and my dad would be like, "Where'd you get this money?" Old school Italians, like, "There's no way you make any money."
You sell junk.
Yeah, and we're selling like sports cards and autographs and things like that. And we're like, "Hey, we can make money doing this," so it was fun.
Yeah, every Saturday, my dad would come home with a bag full of coins and dump them on the kitchen table. And, I'm one of 5 boys, and we all dug in. He'd say, "You could take one." And we would all night long dig through the coins, find
looking for key dates,
the best one. And then he would take the rest and put them in a bag, and we would take our 1 coin for the Saturday and show each other all night long. We didn't bother anybody. But that's the key to keep kids and grandkids in the coin collecting and into collecting in general. Not only does it keep them out of trouble, but it keeps their mind going.
Yeah. We get a lot. There's been so many people that have come into our shop that said they learned how to reading comics. Kids definitely nowadays are not as interested in coin collecting as they used to be. But when we get them into our store, we make sure we're giving them stuff and educating them and teaching them how to, put what to look for, why there's key dates and pennies, what to search out. And buying old wheat pennies, it's affordable. They're only 4 or 5 cents a piece. So you can buy them. You can still put them in the old blue books. I don't know if you guys remember those, where you just kind of collect every year. So I mean, it's a way of keeping it going, with new generations. So I mean, we're coin collectors from inception. I mean, we've been doing it forever. So, if anybody has any questions or anything, we'd be happy to answer. We've done this a few times, and sometimes we have the right answer, sometimes we don't.
Coins.
Yeah.
Is there any value in old coins from India and China from World War II era?
That foreign coins, it's a whole nother world in the market. I mean, U.S. coins are by far the most valuable coins in the world, without a question. A lot of times when people are in the war, especially overseas during World War II, they would bring back a lot of paper money, bring back a lot of foreign coins, and there's so much of it over here now that rarely do we really find anything of any significant value unless it's silver. Precious metal content's really the only thing that's going to pull out a lot of value in 1940s.
A lot of the
coins.
foreign stuff now is for sale for about $7 a pound on the internet.
Yeah, you could just buy
So it gives you an
handfuls of
idea.
World War II era type coins. There's just so much of it out there. So, yeah. American coins by far are definitely where the value
Guess I
is.
could give those old ones away to the next generation.
There you go.
There you go.
Absolutely. We have a bucket of foreign coins in the store, and kids will take them by the handful or whatever. So. Anybody have any other questions about old toys, comics, anything of that nature?
Comics?
Yeah.
Do you buy whole collections or do
Absolutely.
you buy singles?
Anything and everything. Doesn't matter if it's a whole collection, single, individual. Could be from 1930 or 2024.
Well, my son-in-law thinks his comic collection is gonna be his retirement, so.
It may very well be. You never know.
Wow.
Yeah, we've been buying collections of comics since the early 90s, I'd say. And we've come across pretty much everything from the first Amazing Spider-Man, right down. We never got a Batman 1.
No,
But we've
he
been
doesn't
close.
either.
We've been close. So we had a Batman 3, I think was the oldest that we've ever come across. So
Well, we just helped him move 240 boxes.
That's a big
of
collection.
Virginia.
comics?
From Virginia to Webster.
Wow. Are they in the long white comic
Yeah.
book boxes? So it's
Yeah.
about 300 per
They're
box.
heavy. Oh
How
my
many
God.
boxes? How many boxes did you say?
240.
Oh my God.
What?
That's a lot of comics.
fill up a store.
75,000 comics.
I'll tell him about you guys.
Oh, I would love to have an
You can
opportunity
fund
just to
his
see it.
retirement.
Yeah, right. It's all about eras when it comes to comic books. There's a golden age, a silver age, a bronze age, and then the most common, or the more current ages. The golden age went to about 1959, 60, then it started up with the silver age, that went to about 69, then the bronze age picked up around 1970. And those are the 3 ages of the more significant value. Those are the early characters that were first introduced. Once it hits the copper age and the modern age from the 80s to present, it's a little more hit or miss. You really got to be more selective in what you're buying and what you're finding as far as value goes. So. Interesting though, that's wow. Collections are still out there like that. It's nice to hear. Yeah.
Turn left onto East Main Street.
We know how you guys
Tell her we said hello.
Yeah, and there's every day we wake up and something comes into our store because we're doing a lot of advertising now for antiques and just about anything, a lot of pop culture stuff. So we see something that we have not seen every single day, you know, and
Yeah,
so-
that's more common now than ever.
Yeah, and just learning about all these different aspects of the antiques and the collectibles is fun for us. We love that. So.
So you also buy antiques?
Oh yeah, we buy
Oh.
lots of antiques. Yeah, but I mean, you know, right now I'd say the hottest area, like I said, is definitely pop culture, smalls, advertising, things of that nature. That's kind of like the term antique. Everybody thinks of like an old sofa, or you know, an old painting, or an old cast iron stove. I mean, that stuff is pretty much impossible to sell nowadays. I mean, it's really difficult. That's what we get the most calls on. You know, it's like an old roll top desk or something of that nature. I don't even know where to refer those individuals, maybe through live auction or something of that nature, because it's very difficult to find a home for like old dishware, you know, that we grew up with and our grandparents had with the old rosary, you know, roses on the outside of it. Nobody wants that in their decor anymore. No
It's
young
up at
kids wants to
Savers
deal with
right
that.
now.
Yeah.
Just left there.
Yeah.
I have a
That kind of stuff is there.
1934, I think it is, Glendale stove that I use every day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
The old
Yeah.
stuff was made way better back then. That's,
Yeah, I mean,
that's what
we'll
I like
never
about it.
have to do any repairs on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's funny. Yeah. So sports cards, that's another area that's also been hot for a long time, and it hasn't really declined. But the older the better again. Yeah. What other types of like collectibles or antiques are you guys familiar with, or?
I have one. Just what about Star Wars cards? You know, the trading cards.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
they started in 1977.
Yep.
They had several different series, and they coded them with color.
Yep.
So the blue was the 1977, then they went to the green, the red, the yellow. And yeah, there's each series, I'd say, in very good condition, not graded, not dead mint condition, average circulated condition. Each set's worth a couple $100.
Okay.
So if you get the whole thing, it could be upwards around $1,000. Now, a big thing with collectibles nowadays with sports cards also is everything's graded. Everything's professionally slabbed. So you send it into a grading company, they encapsulate it, they put a professional grade on it. Now, if you get the higher tier of what you're looking for on the grades, whether it's 1 through 10 or 1 through 100, if you get that 90 or 95, then you're talking huge money. So that's kind of what a lot of collectors do. They're seeking out raw stuff, sending it in, getting it slabbed and certified, and then they're trying to resell it for big money. I kind of don't like
Taking the fun
that.
out of it.
Yeah, we kind of don't like
What
that,
they're
but,
doing.
I mean, you gotta go with the flow. We buy a lot of that encapsulated stuff. We have to, so, yeah. But short answer though, yeah, it's cool stuff.
Okay.
The old Star Wars stuff's definitely worth some money. Yeah. That's probably one of the hottest action figures out right now. It's the old Star Wars figures from 77 to
But we've been
85.
through it all. When we started this thing, it was cast iron toys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Anything cast iron, the older the better, you know.
Tin lithographed, old pressed steel, kind
It's
of,
all-
you know, stuff like this from the 1940s. Again, people buy things they had that they remember as a kid. There's not a lot of 80-year-olds that say, hey, I had that truck, I'm gonna buy that today and put it in my, you know, they just don't, so it lowers the value of this kind of stuff. 20 years ago, this stuff was, you know, these are probably a $350 truck, right now it's probably $100, just because of the fact that, you know, it's not as sought after, there's not as many people buying it that remember it, you know.
How about the yellow Tonka trucks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are mainly 1970s-ish. Those are still pretty hot, yeah,
Alright.
yeah, definitely. I mean, condition's a big factor
Be like-
with anything, of course.
What should
conditions.
people buy today in hopes of it being valuable someday?
Well, I would say silver. We tell everybody, buy silver. I mean, silver's just been going crazy over the past couple of years.
There's a lot of
There's
room
no end in
for-
sight. There's a lot of room for it to grow and go higher. Yeah, definitely, so.
So you don't think we should get rid of our silver coins?
Well, I mean, you know, we'll gladly buy them, and we do, and we sell them, but I mean, it's a great investment, and silver is definitely where we think, you know, where the money's gonna go in the future. Now, if you're talking about collectibles or antiques, what to invest in, like I said, it's generational, so I mean, try to stay ahead of the curve. You know, a lot of guys, toys that came out in the 1990s are probably gonna start gaining value, and I keep saying toys because of collectibles, toys are probably the hottest market, so. As far as dishware, glassware, china,
They used to be,
Yeah.
but now people won't even sell it online because they have to ship it.
Yep.
And then by the time it gets there, there's a chip or a crack, and then, you know, so they
Everything is
lose
sold online,
interest,
yeah.
you know, in doing it that way. And locally, you know, nobody comes into local stores and says, I want a dish set.
Yeah.
You know, at least I haven't heard it, you know.
That's silly. That is so silly because when they, well, I don't know if they still do it, but on their wedding list, they put
Absolutely, yes.
I don't think they do anymore. I don't even know what, I mean, you know, I went to weddings, but I'm in my 20s, I don't go to weddings anymore, but I don't know what people ask for anymore.
I don't either, but,
Can't imagine
but
seeing a cake
they
butter.
use that.
My son a couple years ago put some glassware that was my husband's grandmother's. And it had been stored and all that, and I said, I know, I don't want to be the one that breaks one of those glasses.
Right.
So, does anybody want it? Nobody wanted it. So
Yeah.
he put it on, and some girl the next day came and she was tickled to get them because it was right before Thanksgiving.
Oh, nice.
And it
Oh,
was
nice.
gonna match her grandmother's set.
See,
Oh,
that's
And
the
she
best
was-
story,
she
like,
was
we love that.
hosting- She was hosting
Right.
Thanksgiving and she was just
Oh,
tickled
that's
that she
nice.
had the whole set.
That's
So I was so
fantastic.
pleased that it went to somebody,
Yeah,
I
good
felt
reuse
bad
it.
letting go of it, but I thought, I know I'm gonna break one of those when I wash it or do something, so I said no.
That's usually why we don't price a lot of the collectibles on the side,
She appreciated it.
just for the
Yeah,
fact that
it worked out great.
someone comes in and has some interest in something, we'll kind of read them a little bit. And if it's a dealer trying to buy it to resell it, well, they're gonna have to pay. If it's someone that said, I remember this as a kid, I gotta get this put on my shelf, they'll get it at half of what it's worth. Just because I wanted to go to someone who was gonna appreciate it and someone who's gonna enjoy it and get it in their collection and not just try to make a buck on it, you know?
Yeah,
So it's nice to find that one
it was
person.
so happy, it was so nice.
It's okay.
to have it.
It's all right.
I'm done.
No, my question is Fiesta ware still hot?
Actually, it is.
It is.
Yeah,
Fiesta
that's
ware
probably
is,
one of
yeah.
the very few areas of the dishware that's still pretty hot.
Depending
Just
on
the colors.
color.
People love the color.
Yeah, the
You know,
colors
the
pop.
bright fluorescent oddball colors, old, that's definitely,
I
Yeah.
collect it, but I use it. I
Oh,
used
that's
to just
awesome.
keep it on the, in the
For sure.
pantry
Yep.
to look at.
You can
And now
still
I'm
find it
like-
at the flea markets too.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's still around.
I'm not getting any younger. I'm gonna use it.
that's all right.
But when I serve it to someone, I'm like, I won't serve it if they're having to use a knife, because my son will pull it out. I'm like, don't you dare use a knife on that. You know, because I've
You
noticed
don't wanna
on the
scratch
old
it,
pieces,
yeah.
they scratch.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely, they certainly
So-
do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's neat.
We buy a lot of Sterling flatware sets, throughout at the store, quite often, probably a few sets a week at least.
Oh, yeah.
And again, nobody wants to the kids don't want to polish it. They don't want to polish the silver. They don't want. It's like what's that story with that one lady that came?
Oh.
in? That was a good one. Yeah.
I had a future mother-in-law and her future daughter-in-law come in with a Sterling flatware set. And she said, my daughter-in-law didn't want it because she's not gonna use it and she's not gonna polish it. She said, oh, no. Then I made her an offer for the set, which was $2,200. And the future daughter-in-law says, that is kinda pretty. Her mother-in-law took the money, shoved it in her bra and said, too late now. Walked out the door, it was great. I loved it. Oh.
That's a good story.
But with regard to precious metals, I mean, they are highest that they've ever been in history. Steadily. Like
So,
gold
yeah,
right now
we
is
are
over
excited about
2,300.
that.
Yeah. And silver's over 30. But well, it just about crashed on Friday. But it went down a couple dollars, but it's still hovering right around $30, which is insane for silver. So
Yeah, so gold actually was an all-time high last week. Never, ever been any higher. We were actually excited because finally, somebody can come in with a broken bracelet or necklace, and I can say, oh, it's $200, and
yeah,
know,
on like a small
what?
little. I mean, it's amazing.
so
It
they
adds up
leave
when-
happy, and we're always smiling. So everybody was happy last week, which is rare. You know what I mean? And it was fantastic. It was
Oh, and these
fun.
people, they
What
pay attention.
about-
They know exactly what gold's worth per gram,
You
and
know
they
how
weigh it up, and they
they
come.
encourage you to buy gold and gold bars and stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that such a thing you should do?
Wait, what-
Those
Oh,
businesses that
The
advertise.
businesses say, buy
investing in
gold
gold.
bars, buy
yeah,
gold
just
bars.
be careful who you buy from. I mean, it's crazy. That's what we have this
Yeah,
for.
but how do you spend
Every
a gold
day.
bar?
Well, you can't spend a gold bar, but the conspiracy theorists, they think you can shave off little pieces and buy
Oh.
bread with it, which is fine. And we go along with that, and we get people that come in that actually say, so when the banks collapse and we have silver, should we get the larger 10-ounce bars or the smaller ones? Because how do we separate it if we're buying product? And I'm like, well, common sense would say go a fractional, go with the smaller pieces so you can shave it off and you can get bread here. We don't know what to say, but they really, truly feel like this is happening, and it could. So, I mean, there's a
The
lot of people out
investors
there.
do say, they do say, like if you have everything in the stock market, you kinda gotta balance it with everything else. So buy a little bit of gold and a little bit of silver to balance what you have in the stock market. So if one goes down, the other always goes
Generally
up.
worth, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it kind of balances a little bit. Some people are a little enthusiastic with it, so they'll come in and like they'll spend half of their portfolio on gold. Makes me nervous,
Yeah.
but they do, just in case this does go down and gold goes up, then they balance it. But,
Yeah, but there are a lot of people that do think that buying gold bars and bullion, like you were saying, is the way to go. There are a lot of companies that are advertising
Yeah.
gold for sale, but you gotta look at gold, you gotta look at what you're buying. You should not have to pay a penny over 2 to 3% over spot price. So if spot's even numbers, say $2,000, 3% of $2,060, you should never have to pay 60% or $2,060 for a $2,000 bar of gold.
Okay.
You know, in a lot of these places, I mean, we had a lady come in Thursday, and she brought in gold that she had bought. She had a receipt, she paid 20 grand for it. And it was a lot of gold. And we're weighing it and looking at it and looking at the receipt, and when she bought it, at the time she bought it, gold was probably 1,600 an ounce, and she overpaid. I mean, there's no way around it. You know, we tried to explain to her, this is the situation. It's unfortunate. A lot of
never
these
buy
companies
gold
will-
at midnight from 10 to 13.
Yeah, there you
That's
go,
it.
right.
Just that.
The guys that find it on the Atosha or found it on a big a ship underground, right?
Yeah, don't buy coins at midnight off TV.
Or on eBay, please, whatever you do. I can't tell you, there's so many fakes going on eBay, especially silver, that, and people don't catch it because when they buy it, they just hoard it, they stack it, they just put it in tubes, they don't
Wait
look,
a
and
minute,
they look
why is it
identical.
fake? Why is it fake?
Oh, they're coming out
Fake
of, they're coming out of
coins?
China.
You mean a fake coin?
Fake coins, yeah.
Oh my God.
They look exactly like American coins. American
my
Eagles are the only American minted US silver coin right now. And they're very, well detailed, but, some places in
And
China
they're
found
sought,
a way
and they're
to.
sought after, so they like, if you're gonna collect it, that's the one you would collect. So, of course, China said, oh, well, you know what, we can sell these to people for $1 and dunk them in silver and make them look silver, and then they try to resell them
And
as.
put them on
my
eBay
God.
as real, and you don't catch it, like I said, because you'll buy it, you'll stack it, you'll hoard it. By the time you go to sell it, when silver's up 3 years later, come into a place like ours, and they don't weigh right. So we shoot them, and they're copper. And then we have to explain that, and it's a horrible thing. So eBay is just not the right way to go. If you do, you got 30 days to do a return on eBay. So if you buy stuff on eBay and you want to get it checked out, just bring it to a shop like ours.
My
and
husband
we'll
used to go to the bank and get like so many dollars worth of quarters.
Oh, yeah. People do that all the time still. We have tons of customers that do that.
So you don't get crooked money from the bank.
Nope. Nope. And they still find a lot of silver. Any American coin, dimes, quarters, or half dollars.
Well, yeah, bankers come in once a week.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Anything pre-1965 is silver. And you find a lot of it still. So, yep. Definitely. That's kind of our main business, what we do is the precious metals, the coins, the gold, the scrap jewelry, bullion, even costume jewelry. It's
Yeah, that's
been
a good
huge
one
part
now.
of what we're doing now, so, yep. So,
We gotta roll with the punches too, with, what's coming up. And, so we're constantly changing what we're buying, or what
Stay ahead
we're
of the curve.
focusing on,
You almost have to, or else you're
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
with stuff that you can't sell either.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
Yep,
yeah.
yep, yep. So we're out there, we do everything from eBay to live auctions. We do Whatnot now, which is a live streaming auction site. It's horrible, but we do it. So, we gotta stay ahead of the curve, like you said. But, so we're doing that. We're doing eBay, like I said. We do flea markets, live auction, we have antique co-ops, we retail out of the store. Just gotta find all these different ways to move stuff, or else, if you're limiting yourself to 1 or 2 ways, you're done.
Especially if you're buying a truckload and selling a cigar box full. That's big trouble, eventually it gets to be big trouble.
That's what my storage units are for.
Because you're a hoarder.
Oh, no. Don't let them put you on hoarders.
I know.
With all the lady with 5 storage units in a store or something.
Yeah.
No.
He
That's-
just
I'm
loves
just
the stuff.
teasing.
I'm talking really sorry.
No, go ahead. I
Too much
talk
coffee this morning. Um,
I had Pepsi, so.
Do you ever do the storage units thing? Like, do you ever
We
buy?
never have.
Yeah, we never have. We buy from people who do storage units, so they'll bring in their stuff that they find, and it's amazing. If they're telling the
Some of that
truth.
stuff is cool.
Yeah, if they're telling the truth that they really did get it from a storage unit, it's pretty nuts. We've spent quite a bit on gold, silver especially, that would come in out of units, and I can't
Oh,
believe
wow.
that people put that in the storage. I don't believe it, so I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna, and you gotta buy these things blind. I mean, they just open a door, it's true, and you just have to look at the outside, you're not allowed to walk
Oh,
in.
yeah.
And how do you know the auctioneer or somebody from the storage company didn't get in there
Already
already?
get in there and look.
Yeah.
I don't believe it, but I hear stories, we see stuff come through the
Tell what
door.
Mark found in the attic.
Mark.
Your guy with ounces of silver.
Oh, yeah, that was just a
That was
couple weeks ago.
recently.
Yeah, a guy called us, he was doing remodel for a house, and he was doing, adding another room in the attic, like building a room in an attic. And he went into the attic, the family just bought the house, and he found a receipt for silver in the attic, and, in like the loft, and it was like $20,000 in silver, several hundred ounces. I want to say, 1,000 ounces, maybe?
Yeah.
So he called me up and he goes, I just found a receipt for 1,000 ounces of silver up in a loft. I said, you should probably look for the silver if that's, if it's,
Yeah.
and he found it. And he did the right thing, he called the family and told them what he found. And the family didn't even, that silver was worth more than they paid for the house. And they actually gave the silver back to the family,
Wow.
the gentleman that they bought the house from. I don't know if they bought it at an auction or whatnot. And he actually did distribute it to his family, so. But I mean, you find, there's a lot of things out there and you really gotta, we hear a lot of stories, a lot of interesting scores. Yeah, you're like, I wish I had that luck. But yeah, I saw it though. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. A lot of stories like that.
So any other questions at all?
I know people had brought some things in for us to check out. I hope that we have the right knowledge on what you have. Like I said, I kind of gave an idea of my knowledge base mostly, but we'll do our best, and we can always find buyers for things if we don't know what it is. I mean, Antiques Roadshow is a little deceiving. I mean, those guys don't really do it on the spot. We actually had a couple of people that came in that went to Antiques Roadshow and they were on it, and they said it's about a 2 or 3 day process, because
Oh, I
not everybody
figured,
knows
yeah.
everything that you're looking at. And what we like to do is research, and it's a blast. I love it, and I will find out a value of something for you if I don't know it. And I'll do that based on a compilation of historical auctions sales, whether it's live auction or eBay sales or whatnot. I'm on a bunch of different sites where I actually pay monthly just to get a compilation of values of different things. There's a site called WorthPoint. It'll pull up pretty much anything that is sold, from antiques to collectibles, coins, jewelry, etc. And it'll compile a list of sold listings based on a photo you can take, so it's pretty cool. So it can definitely help with that, hopefully.
I did have a question. I can't remember how you tell what the silver is, if you're looking for silver or you have silver at home.
You mean like
know,
the markings on it, or what to look for?
Yes, the
flatware?
markings. Isn't there like a 9?
Well,
25.
the European marking is 925, the American marking is sterling. So it would basically just say sterling. If it was like a fork or a knife or a spoon, the reverse side of it should have the word sterling by law.
But if it just says sterling silver?
Yeah, just the word sterling. It could have like Wallace is a company that made sterling. It could say Wallace Sterling, International Silver Sterling. As long as it's got that word there, that's.
As long as the word sterling is there, you're in.
Yeah, it should be. That's what we always say, and it's always hit or miss. Someone comes into the store and they open up the wood box and the flatware. We're like,
50-50 shot.
for everybody's we want to buy it. We want them to have the money, and it's either worthless or you got 100 ounces that's worth a couple grand.
Right.
It's nothing in between. So it's just plated, and the plated stuff is unrecoverable because it's so thin it burns up in the process. Silver actually gets refined with an acid, not heat. So the acid will eat away that plating, and you will not be able to recover any of the
But can they mark it sterling and still have it,
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
have it
we've
just
never really
coated
seen.
with?
No, we've never
it
really
usually-
seen fake stuff like that.
And now that you said it, somebody's.
Yeah, I know. Great. Well, again, this is our savior. This is basically an X-ray gun. It has several different names in our shop. I call it a thermonuclear energizer. Jay, what do you call it?
Ray gun?
Ray gun? Yeah, ray gun. Jay works for us. He's our nephew. But anyways, basically what it is, it's just it actually does have radiation, and we have to register this thing with the health department. But it will X-ray through a coin, or a piece of jewelry, or a piece of flatware, and it'll tell us what the metal content is. So it eliminates the fakes and things of that nature. Someone comes in with 10 ounces of gold, that's 25 grand. We can't risk, not knowing if that's real or not. So something like this is a
And now we don't
necessity
have to
now.
scratch it and
Yeah, I
use
know.
the acid.
Right.
What about colored jewels? Like say it's just a rock, like.
I mean, like synthetic stones versus real.
How about
I don't know
amber?
if it was in with
Amber's
grandmother's jewelry.
Yeah.
And kept in her jewelry box, what?
This is the weird
There a
thing,
way
right?
to-
So normally, if it's a real gem, they have defects. So
We
if
call
you
them
look-
inclusions, so.
Inclusions, right, so if you look through the magnifying glass or the loop, you can actually see the bubbles and the cracks and that kind of thing.
So you'd be
through
able
the
to tell if
stone.
it was.
If they're
Yeah.
perfect, 9 times out of 10,
They're synthetic or
they're
fake or
synthetic or
plastic.
fake.
I know, because my aunt took one was gonna, there used to be an auction thing, wasn't there down off of 250 somewhere? I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
Wasn't
You mean the
there
auction
one
consignment
time?
place?
yeah.
I don't know,
They used
my-
to have auctions down there at,
Yeah, my
I think
aunt
it was-
had some old jewelry that she was gonna take down, and she said, thank goodness I checked it out at a jeweler's first, because he says you really got something there, and it was just a stone and it was a ruby.
Oh, wow,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
cool.
So, I don't know.
And we don't do too much with stones aside from diamonds, obviously. You know, it's again, it's something you have to have a whole knowledge base on.
Yeah.
It's like stamps. We don't do much with stamps either.
So
'cause
there's
again,
no ray gun that,
opens up a whole world. No, there's
It
no,
shows
there's no
you.
ray gun.
No.
Yeah.
yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. It's more or less. I mean, you can easily determine whether or not it's real. The value is the hard part. Determining
Right.
what it's worth is really the difficult part. You got to find the jeweler that needs that piece to make a piece of jewelry for someone
Right.
who requested it.
Or can cut it down into the right
Right.
piece,
Right.
yeah, so that's the tough
How
part.
about Art Deco jewelry?
Yeah.
I just
Well,
love
we,
it.
we love it. We love the style, big time. I like art.
It never goes out of style,
Yeah.
that's the key.
I'll take a jar, I'll take an old jukebox, I'll take an old radio, I just love the style,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true, the old
Yeah.
radios are.
Oh, yeah, those are very, very classic for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about, I have a collection of clocks, like,
I like mantle clocks. I
no
think
big
they're
deal
interesting.
clocks. I mean, the clocks, that you put on your bedside.
Yeah, yeah,
Back in the 30s and,
and that's the thing, they were popular back then, and people that remember them probably dealt with them pretty regularly
Yeah.
back in the 70s and 80s, but we don't see a lot of value in that stuff today.
I
We
know.
have people bring it in, we try Google lensing it and searching it and, trying to get a value on eBay and this and that, and we're like, it's hard to break it to someone when they think what they have is worth
I
a
know.
lot, and it's not,
I know.
it's really hit or miss, but clocks are probably not the best thing to invest in, or if you got a few of them laying around, they're not gonna make you that much money.
I have also a collection of the wooden ones, yeah.
Oh, Waltham.
Waltham.
Yeah, they also make watches and,
Yeah,
Yep, mantle clocks.
Yep.
Those are the ones you can open up the back and watch everything tick
Yeah,
and move.
you're right,
It's
yeah.
awesome.
and there's always like the higher end tier
you
of
can
every
wind
type.
them with the.
Oh, yeah, the key. Mhm.
So, yeah, they range in price, they're all over the
I
place,
know.
so it's so hard to determine without really seeing it. And
If you ever wanna have
talking to an
fun,
expert.
pop the back off of a pocket watch and
Okay.
just watch everything move, it's just amazing.
You probably like the really old pocket watches.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
Most of the ones we get in the store are from the turn of the century, late 1800s to like the 19-teens, 20s. Yeah.
It's
Very,
really
very
cool. I
popular.
didn't
in the,
know.
There's such a history on those old
Mhm.
pocket watches.
It's amazing how they got them to work.
I know.
There's 1,000 different parts.
Yep.
They're-
I mean,
And they
just-
all work
we
together. It's
Bring in like a little
crazy
sample of
thing.
the old style watches every time whenever we, do anything like this, or
Yeah.
take it to the flea market, just so people can kind of see and get an idea of what they look like back then. Which is
Just the
amazing.
patience.
I know,
Can you imagine, just like my watch doesn't work and you fix it for me and you see the guy with the glasses on?
There's like one guy in Rochester that fixes these things.
And he's almost 90.
Yeah, he
Oh,
is.
boy.
His name is Jerry from Jerry's Jewelers in Arundecoit. And that guy is like just the old school, he's got the big Coke bottle glasses, and he's back there fixing pocket watches, and it's amazing,
Wow.
yeah. He's one of the last guys out there doing it.
Yeah, the last time I said, can you polish my watch up? Once a year we do it. And he says, well, yeah, I'm going in for heart surgery, but I'll be back on Wednesday.
That's pretty funny. So you wanna start the next part?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. If anyone wants to
So
bring anything
anybody
up at all,
wants
at
to
least
bring
take a look
something
and
up,
do the best we can to help you out.
Crazy.
And that was a loving cup for 1913.
1913,
It was
yeah.
given to him. Silver plate, I believe.
Yep, yeah, silver plated,
And
definitely.
people have told me, don't ever polish it.
No, you can't. Please.
Well, you gotta keep this patina, man,
Yeah,
keep
this
the
is the
original
best
look
part
to
about
it.
it.
Yeah, and stuff like this is very subjective. I mean, you gotta find someone who's interested in that genre, that specifically,
Yeah.
but, so it's, again, and you probably hear me say this, Dave, but it is hard to put a price on certain things that are more personal.
I was just curious, it's gonna stay in the family,
Yeah, of
obviously,
course.
but
And usually like, you know, sports, historically, trophies, things of that nature, you know, we've seen them, we picked up some, like everything from dog show,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, things to old high school baseball style things, trophies and outfits from like the early 1900s. You know, $100, $200, you know, we've always got when we try to move them. You know, if you got someone whose name is on there that's Hall of Fame famous, yeah, it's great. Yeah, no, it's a beautiful piece. You can't put an exact
I should have
number on
dusted it at least.
I wouldn't even touch it.
I wouldn't touch it, no way.
I'm just noticing the dust
I've
now.
already made my day.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Thank
Does
I would,
it
I
have
would put it in
a-
the shop and put
sure
90%
would.
silver in
I
it.
was wondering if they had a top.
Thank you.
That's amazing, thank you very much, that's cool.
I don't know if you want to see it after it's still, but
No, we're
this was
good.
given to me when I was a child.
That's
My
a-
uncle that was there.
It's a sweetheart bracelet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
This is cool as heck. These are great, very.
It's a coin bracelet.
Yep. So generally, they were made during the war, right, for their
Well,
sweethearts?
Yeah, it's gotta be over 50 years old,
Yeah.
because I got it when I was a child.
Jay, where's the loop? Did you bring it? Yeah, I didn't use
And
it.
then these are my-
What?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I just wanna see where these are from.
Yeah, we've sold a lot of sweetheart bracelets over the years. The American ones are a little bit more sought after.
It's a
Yeah, I
sixpence.
figured. It says what?
It's a sixpence.
Oh, I thought you said it said pets.
I know, I thought you said a six pack. It's a six pack.
It's worth a six pack.
That's neat. Yeah, we've had these many and many a time. Oh, that's neat.
Those are for my grandmother.
Oh, sure.
We've seen these.
You can true, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got some coppers, you got some silvers, so you got a little bit of silver, but the weight of the silver is really not, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's really the artistry of
Right.
the piece and the fact that it was, made in the year that the coin's actually in good condition still. We buy a lot of these out, so they're very cool. It's a nice looking. All of it was made that, it's never been released on anything?
Nope.
It's the pieces in between.
You know,
It's one.
That's pretty.
like I said, it was given to me when I was young, so.
So, not that it matters what that is, Sterling, but it's the style, right? That's really cool.
Yep, again, this is the kind of stuff that
Is
we
that
usually put
onyx?
in like our whatnots.
That's onyx, isn't it? No? That's really cool.
Let me see the, yeah.
So this, yeah, there is a silver market here on the back.
No, this is not, this is just,
Synthetic, okay. And that's where your silver markings would be,
Oh, okay.
here and here.
yeah, everything usually has a hallmark on it. It would say Sterling or
Oh, okay.
925, something of that nature. But usually, even though the weight of the silver really doesn't, it's a non-factor in something like this, it still means that it was a precious metal, so it was made with care and a more valuable piece even when it was originally made. You know, so the fact that it was made out of sterling means that it was
And this
a
is
better
just
piece to begin with.
stone.
Absolutely, yeah. So
Yeah.
the stones themselves aren't worth anything, but
Yeah.
as an antique piece, I mean, you know, again, but you see stuff like this down at the co-ops, the antique co-ops out in 332.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff like this, a lot of dealers buy stuff like this from us. And again, they put them on for $50, $75, $100. Really, it depends on finding that right person.
Yeah.
So, but it's really pretty pieces.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I hope it helped, at least a little bit.
Yeah, I got so much stuff.
If you
I
want to stop
wanted to
down at
bring
the
the
store
small
sometime.
stuff, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
if
that's
you
what I
want to keep
figured,
my card,
anything like that, I just.
Yeah, at least we'll try to help the best we
Yeah,
can, okay? I mean,
yeah.
you know, nobody's gonna know everything
Yeah,
about every type
what
of
about
job.
things that were made from like my husband has a log cabin that his grandfather made that they would put out under the Christmas tree every year.
Okay.
And we still we haven't.
Yeah, so I mean, you mean something like a woodworking piece that he
Homemade,
made?
yeah, something.
We see a lot of stuff like that, and it's always in the eye of the beholder. You gotta find that right person, someone,
Okay.
you know, because it's not a, it's
But
not-
it is coming back around though.
Yeah,
There's
definitely,
people
definitely.
like that.
Especially in that Christmas time, we find a lot of people asking us for trains again, because trains are kind of,
Yeah.
but people are coming back and asking a lot more for that kind of stuff. What did the mantis that mom had at Christmas time they put out, we've had a bunch of people.
Oh,
The
asking.
houses,
Yeah, but
the houses and the.
I don't know why I can't think of the name of it, but
Oh, I can't either.
I know, isn't that crazy?
But
But yeah,
mangers?
yeah, the mangers,
Oh, the
yeah,
mangers.
yeah, so this.
Yeah.
They're coming back
Yeah,
down
yeah,
too.
I saw that, there was quite a few down at that one antique place that I was at,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
So I bought my grandma and grandpa's house around the corner from
Okay.
here. And my grandpa's workshop is still untouched after, after he passed away. So I was looking for some miscellaneous nuts and bolts the other day in his workshop, and I came across that. I know it's not uncommon. It's a little medal that says,
I am a Catholic priest.
I am a Catholic, please call a priest.
Oh.
Which I think a lot of Catholics used to carry in case something happened to them and they could
course,
get their
yeah.
last rites. But I was curious as to if you could tell what era it was from.
Boy,
He was in World War II.
It's
and
gotta be 40s,
it's gotta
absolutely.
be maybe earlier than that.
Is it?
Probably, yeah.
I was wondering if maybe it was something that he got when he
Yeah. I'm
went
a
off to the
Catholic.
war or
Please
something
call
like
a
that.
Priest, right? So cool. I see it.
That is new.
I
They
mean, it's
used to
just,
carry these, well,
it's kinda-
in this case, he probably had it on a necklace, but they used to carry them right in their pockets.
kind of cryptic in a way, you know, and that's just for the fact that you know what the.
Is it a medal?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it forgiving last right?
Priest on back,
I
yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, I hate to use eBay as a reference all the time, but unfortunately, it's the way to go nowadays. You have to. And there is actually one on here. I just did a photo of it. Sterling medallion cross with Mary
What do
Jesus
they
called
call
a priest on
it?
back. You know, again, sterling silver, sold for $26. You know, this
You
is
can have it over.
usually what we see something of that nature, $25 to $50. And it's cool though.
Do you think it's that old though?
I would think.
Because I know there's lots of iterations of it,
Mhm.
obviously. And I believe that some people still carry them.
I think so too, actually.
But it's hard to say by just looking at the metal. Based on the wear, you know, and the patina and how worn down it is, I mean, it's.
Well, it was mixing with a bunch of nuts and bolts, so.
Right, that helps speed up the aging process, I guess. But yeah, I would have to say, you know, again, no exact science on it, but 1920s, 30s, 40s, something of that nature, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen anything from the 50s to present like that.
No,
so.
me neither,
All
so
right.
it's gotta be prior to 50.
Not selling it though,
No,
selling it.
no, I don't blame you. I'd like to
That's
hear
really
that. That's so cool. Oh, boy.
Okay, Earl.
What is it?
Oh, wait, here we go. All right, at first,
Is that
okay.
an early Swiss Army knife?
Yeah, I was gonna say, at first I thought it was gonna be a belt buckle.
No.
And then I had about 2
That's
seconds to
exactly
see
what
that.
tough to
Yeah,
work.
it is an old Swiss
You
Army
you
knife.
can't
Exactly
push
what
them
that
out,
is, Earl.
but they're tough.
the
Amazingly,
corkscrew.
the corkscrew's the one that's broken, most used. Huh?
Ah, what a shame, huh?
Everything was made so much better then. You know what I mean? It's like, come on.
But is
How
that
did you carry
basically
that,
a,
I
like
know,
a Swiss
that's-
Army, just different tools in the handle?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how it was worn and it carried. We've never seen one, so.
Yes, there was a company name on it. I've shown it to different people. My father and I found that in my grandfather's junk
Watch
toolboxes
this.
when we cleaned out. And I'm going through this thing, and I've asked a lot of people, and nobody's really known just what it was. But I guess this Swiss Army knife is ideal.
Wow, they're looking, they're asking some pretty good sized money for them, so.
You're
It's,
kidding.
let's see what they're saying about it here. 19th century bow corkscrew. Let's see here. Oh yeah, they're asking some pretty good sized money for stuff like that.
Yeah, it looks like, yes.
That's it right here.
Evidently, there are different varieties, different number of tools or something that they put together.
How much?
You know, people are asking $600-700.
That's true, I was thinking the same
It was
thing.
junk that was going to be thrown out, but I
Yeah,
said, no, I want to
Yeah,
find
no,
out what it
that's
is.
right.
It's a bow corkscrew, it's what it's called. It's 19th century.
That's what
I guess it would definitely require a little bit further information, but I would say.
Well, go ahead and push through. You can, it's tough, but you can push them through and they pop out, and you can use just one of them, or all of them.
Yeah.
And I wondered what each tool is for. There's a bunch of tools there.
Well, obviously you got your screwdriver, you got your corkscrew, you got your. This looks like a punch, yeah.
So,
Sewing.
That's
like a button hook, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh boy.
It hasn't been used in a while. I imagine it probably worked when it was.
Before I break your $700, I don't
Yeah.
know, put it back in. No, honestly, I mean, just based on what I'm seeing, that's just a quick, that's what we do in the shop. You bring something like that in, I'll look it up, I'll try to find out the value. I'm looking at here, people are asking $700 for it. So for me, based on that, at the store, I'd probably err on the side of caution. I'd say, yeah, I'd give you $300 to take a shot at it. So that's what I would say to somebody. So I mean, you know it's worth at least that, but what I would get for it, who knows?
Well, like
Some
that's
people are
an idea
asking
what
that
it
kind of-
is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What did he say?
Yep.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
thank you. That's really neat though.
That is why.
Oh, here we go.
Ooh, a coin. That's our specialty. We got here. Boy, it's hard to even make this one out.
With the light, it's good. So what's interesting about this is she found that in our yard under a tree this
Okay.
spring.
Oh,
That's
wow,
cool.
that's really neat.
Without even a metal detector?
No, it was just laying on the surface halfway out.
It looked like a little piece of garbage, but it
Oh my gosh.
What a find.
The guy was an electrician who owned the house, so I thought it was a knockout from,
Yeah,
because it
right.
had mud on it, and then I started rubbing it with my fingers, and
There's
What
your
is it?
college fund.
It's an old copper penny.
Oh, wow.
1820.
Yep,
If you put the
comes
light
in
on
large
it, it pops
You
out.
might have enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So the term we use for these guys are large cents. So it's just bigger than the American penny you see now, and made about what, 200 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You could pop it out of the case if you want.
No, that's right. I wouldn't even. I can tell by the condition. So because of the corrosion, I mean, if I'm being honest with as far as a professional idea of value, because of the corrosion, that definitely does take away from the value of it. But being 200 years old and it's still intact. It's 1820, did you say?
Yeah, if you take a look,
Yeah, it's
the light across it, it pops out when you.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, no, it's in decent condition. If
bad
it wasn't
shape
for
at all,
the
really.
corrosion, and there is a way that you can get that cleaned, but if you send it out to get it slabbed, they're gonna remark that it's been cleaned, so it
Yeah.
kinda alters.
I mean, our house property, I mean, we've got records going back that far that there was people in the area, so.
And it was just sitting on top of the ground, like it wasn't even like buried?
There's a maple tree there, so there's no grass really growing underneath, but I mean,
That's wild.
it gets
kind
mowed
of
over
good shape.
regularly, that
Yeah.
spot.
Probably just worked itself
Yeah.
up from the dirt.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, condition's pretty much everything when it comes to coins. And that thing is at bare minimum, bare minimum, even if it's a crappy condition, it's 25 to 50 bucks, and they go up into 700-800 in really nice shape.
It was a farm, so it's metal detected, and we've got, I don't know, legs from a potbelly stove. And all
Did you
that.
really? Oh, that's
Oh, yeah,
cool.
it's,
It's a great find. That is awesome.
I just want to know what this is made of.
That's a very good question. My metal analyzer will not tell me. 'Cause it's not-
Tell me what it's made of. Nobody seems to know if it's rock, if it's,
It's not Jade.
We do, oh, you got it?
it's very
Got it? Yeah.
detailed, it's got designs engraved into it.
Soapstone.
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 Okay. That's why it feels so
So
cool.
it's vintage, probably Asian, obviously. Yeah, it's definitely soapstone. And they, 1950s, 60s-ish, when that was popular. Definitely
And is
Chinese,
it
it looks
what,
like.
flowers?
Yeah, I would say it's a
Pencils?
vase, yeah. I would say a small vase, like, you know, pot vase, something like that, just put a small potted plant in. So, yeah, definitely. So I don't think it's a significant value to it, but it's really neat. It looks like it's in excellent condition for all the details there.
It's different.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I'd say it's probably 50 years, 60 years old. Chinese and probably 50 to 75, something like that. I think you're relatively common from what I'm seeing here, so you can see various prices of a lot of different ones and different designs.
Is that one of them?
$75.
So that was a common material?
I would say based on what I'm seeing here, for sure, yes.
And how did they do it?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's
That's
I
a
think they
good
did it
question.
by
A mold or?
I don't think they can mold that.
Yeah, they had to have carved that out.
They had
That's
to carve it.
Yeah. Can you imagine the work that went into that?
No, I can't.
You know, and you would think it would be so much more, just for that fact that the artistry that went into it.
All righty, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. Spread that out.
Could be more of it.
I don't know what you can tell me about this. It's, the story from the family is it's from my wife's great aunt. It's all hand carved. This fits right in here. It's got gold inlay on the top, so we're told, don't know for sure if it is.
Yeah. Do you know any history on it aside from that, or how long it's been in the family or anything? You know, furniture is tough.
Yeah,
for us.
supposedly it was brought over from India.
Okay. So it definitely does look like it has like a in-house. Have you guys had any, tried?
I've never looked into this at all.
I hate to keep using photos, but it's so helpful that it definitely does give us a pretty good idea. Handcrafted floral design.
Is that an app that tells you that?
Yeah, I first start off with Google Lens, and then what it'll do is it'll link me to different websites, and most of those websites I have subscriptions with, so it'll allow me to see some value and things like that. Sometimes it'll be just eBay, but I mean, stuff like this, there's antique handcrafted wooden floral design, carved table, you know, I mean, people are asking some pretty decent money for something.
It's similar.
It has a similar style, it looks like similar era. I mean, it's got the same kind of inlay, it's just not identical on this. You know, it's
But even the base is all hand carved too, from what I can tell.
Yeah, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, based on what I'm seeing, I'd say in the right auction setting, like maybe like Hesse's or something like that, I mean, it could be grand. I don't know if it's family or not, but I mean, I would recommend, I do a lot with Hesse's. You know, I was just talking the other day about consigning some signs that I have, and he does this, and it's auctions all the time.
They're under Geneva, right?
Yes, you got it, yeah. They're one of the better higher end auction companies. And he does sportsman auctions a lot, but stuff like this integrated into his auctions can definitely draw attention.
Okay.
Very cool piece.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to see that today.
Weird one. But I told my dad I was coming here, and he says, I knew a guy, Frank Palmer, that guy. Do you have a family member
Yeah,
like
my
that?
dad.
Delco?
Yeah, that was my dad. He was a union rep there.
Okay, yep, because my dad goes, yeah, he came in when I was 19, and
Yeah.
told me my dad worked for Chester Pelosi for a while.
Oh my gosh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and my dad actually has done like Avon for years, I grew up in all this. Yeah, he's
so
probably
cool.
seen you guys there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. We love hearing still stories. People that remember my dad. So he was a pretty helpful guy in the union. He was union head for several years, and he helped a lot of people get jobs.
Well, that's what my dad was like while I was
Yeah.
19, and he's like, I was thinking about getting a job, a regular job.
Right.
He goes, once I heard it was nights, he goes, I was 19.
Yeah, right,
I didn't want to
exactly.
do it. No, that's cool. I'll have to let him know. No.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, very
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. Thank you. Appreciate it. Those, I'm guessing, are going to be dolls from around the world.
Yeah, well, they're Madam Alexander.
Madam Alexander, gotcha. Yep.
This is just a smorgasbord, I don't even know what that is. These are actually the Madam Alexander dolls.
It's amazing, I'm gonna be honest, every time we see these, they're in the box with a.
Yeah, I mean, they were always well kept, I'm not gonna lie.
That's what my mom said.
We've had quite a few of those, whether it come through the store or just, you know, buying through estates. We would put them on the flea markets, we would put them on eBay. They generally don't have a huge draw because they are usually in very nice condition. So I mean, $25 to $50 a dollar is what we generally have seen.
Yeah.
Some of them creep up if you got something rare or unusual, whether it's larger or less made, without, you know, knowing the specifics on how many were made of each one. It's
So what would surprise you is the accessories to them. They're sometimes worth more than the dolls themselves.
Yeah, it's the first thing that gets lost. And the fact that you have the original tag with the original box, and I mean, it's very pretty. But girls' dolls, girls' toys are kind of the lesser sought after parts
Yeah.
of
My mom always thought
toy
they would
collectibles.
go, keep
I know
She
that.
said, yeah,
You know,
so
we
that's
always
what I
say-
did.
And I swear to God, it rings true every time we say it. The things you think are worth the least are usually worth the most. And, you know, you go and don't do anything with these, they're worth a lot of money. And then you find something in the drawer and
But the
it's a
fork
pencil
that she's
sharpener from
eating
Genesee Brewery or something, you bring it in, it's worth $200, you know?
Right.
It's usually the case, but these are very nice, and, I mean, if you just wanted to resell them or whatever, eBay would be the way to go, $25, $50
Yeah.
per. So, yeah.
Okay. What about this guy?
Porcelain stuff, we generally don't do much with. I don't think this is as old as
78.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably 70s, 80s. It's actually signed, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the artist, but have you ever researched the artist?
No.
Yeah, at least research them. I try to research the. Now, if you brought in G.I. Joe, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
Specifically on that signature. I mean, it could have just been handmade, it could have been, you know, maybe they did 100 of them or 200 of them, so, yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough on the porcelain.
Okay.
Looks like she's in good shape though. Yeah. Let's see,
Yeah.
not too much in there unfortunately, but good stuff.
All right.
Somebody may remember.
Is there
I
any
think the
doll
box is
maker that does?
Well, I mean,
Pull
there's
in
American
money.
doll companies like Ideal and Marks and things like that that made dolls back in the 1960s and 70s that, you know, sometimes are worth a few bucks. Depends on the condition if they're in the original boxes. But aside from like the real stuff that you can think of like Barbies, you know, of course Barbies are going to be worth a fortune.
Right.
If you go back to when they first started in 1958. But aside from that, girls' dolls, it's tough to do. I mean, I have a beautiful Shirley Temple doll from the 1940s in my shop right now, and nobody's ever even picked it up to ask what this.
Really?
And it's like dead mint. I probably paid $40 for it, and I can't sell it for 60. You know, so it's one of those things where unless it's a Barbie, dolls are tough. Yeah.
Wow.
But if you got the 1958 Barbie, it's about 10 grand.
No.
Yeah.
We got a lot
Never
of
had one.
dolls from, like the German immigrants
Yes.
that settled here.
Yes. And so.
So probably the grandparents sent the kids dolls,
Yep.
and now we've got them donated to the museum too.
Yeah, a lot of the
So-
dolls from the 1800s were made in Germany, and
Yeah.
they were all bisque, so they kind of, you know, protecting and keeping them in good condition is difficult.
Eyes were
And the eyes were
important.
freaking scary. Like they have sleepy eyes and then they open up and they're all cloudy, and you're like, you know,
I had dolls in one of my rooms, and I put the boys in there when I was babysitting, and they go, "Grandma, we can't stand the dolls looking at us."
We watched too many Chucky films.
yeah. That's fun.
So my story behind this
Yep, give us
is,
some history.
Oh boy.
so, so I had a small hotel in the Finger Lakes that I ran for about 5 years. One of my guests, it was his father, who was the artist, and I met them. They came up, because we were right on a waterfall, so the mom and dad came up, so he would stay with me when he was visiting them. And he was obsessed with A's. He was from Austria. And I have a catalog. I have a catalog with all his information, where he studied. He has some pieces in the Guggenheim Museum.
Oh, wow, okay.
And getting to my age, I said a few things earlier, how I have to start doing the index cards and putting in a box so I know where I put everything.
Okay.
So I'm in a small senior housing apartment, and I took my whole house apart for 2 days. Cannot find the catalog. It's in a safe place.
You
It's
just
in a
don't know
safe
where
place.
it is.
So, I can't remember his name, and I know I could probably get another catalog. But as far as the catalog going where he studied, et cetera, the catalog was made before this piece. So his son brought me 3 pieces, and he said, "I want you to choose one, take one." And I've had this ever since. It's exactly the way he gave it to me. And
You didn't sign it?
Oh,
it's
it's
signed.
signed,
Oh, it is
but
signed.
that signature is going to be difficult to figure out. And it's like I was going to say, you did all the sort of things that someone like us would do as far as the research goes.
Already,
to try to find
yeah.
out who it was that
You're
did it,
already done.
What kind of history he has, how big of an artist he was.
Yep.
And for us just to begin that process that's whenever anybody brings in art, it's tough because we don't even have a lot of
Sure.
people to refer them to because there's not a lot of people who do art locally.
In Rochester
There's
at
one
all
place
anymore.
in Pittsburgh, and I forget the building it's in.
Mike Deming was,
Mike Deming he dabbled in it a little bit, but
But he moved to Florida as
yeah,
well.
he's
no,
retired, I
not
believe.
Florida.
Where was he?
Tennessee, I think Tennessee.
I know he's retired and gone. A lot of
I
those
used
old
to-
antique guys that
yeah.
used to deal in stuff like this, in furniture, and glassware, china, dishes, those guys are all kind of,
Yep,
the Kittleberger is still in town, but he doesn't do artwork at all.
yeah.
So it's tough.
So
I mean,
I guess-
I'd be happy to grab your phone number, and I'd like to research, so I
Good.
can take a photo of it,
That'd
see
be
what I can
great.
find out about it.
I love it.
Um,
You know, I'm not so much interested in value, but just
Right.
that I could, I mean, I'm sure I can buy another catalog, I'm
Well,
sure I
you
can.
just like the history of it, and that's the best part.
Yes,
That is the
And-
best
The
part
fact that it's an
about it.
original, obviously, is very
yes,
nice
and
too.
like I said, it's, somebody said, oh, you should paint, I'm like, nope, that's just the
Someone
way
said
it
you
was
should
given
what?
to me. Oh, paint around the
No, no,
edges,
no, no, no.
clean it up, I'm like, no.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Please don't do that.
No. Yeah, and the good thing is I did have the pleasure of meeting he and his wife, and
Oh, that's awesome.
so, but it's just, you know,
There's a lot of fine art floating around Rochester. I'll tell you, we were
Thank you.
at an estate last week.
Yeah,
That's really
good,
nice.
thanks.
and it's, I have friends from Germany that have come and said, oh, yes, and they read it to me, but I still don't, obviously, didn't know what.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
want to actually,
cool.
I'll just write your number in the back. I'll
Did
try to
his
do some
name
research
start
for
with
you.
A?
No, he was just obsessed with A's, he loved A's, and all his pieces have A's.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a
I'm just gonna write
research.
your number down, then I'm gonna give you
Okay.
another card. What's your number? Or if you wanna just write it
No,
down.
it's okay.
Oh, okay.
953,
Yep.
953-2499. I have to say the whole thing or I forget.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, keep in
All
touch,
right.
and I will definitely call you if I can find
Thank
anything out for
you.
you, okay?
Thank you, thank you.
All right, of course. That's cool. Yeah, we were just in an estate last week on Lake Road,
Should I ring mine?
and lady had an original Ramon Santiago, which is a Rochester artist. But his style is not as popular as it was back in the '70s when he was around doing it for everybody. So it's like art, again, is generationally, it's got to resonate with someone for their decor. What is this?
I collect beams, whiskey.
This is
Oh, Jim Beam.
Yeah, and
Clocks?
I've
You
both.
collect whiskey decanters and clocks.
I don't know. Anyway, but I
I'm
have.
not even going there.
I know. I got the animals, and then I have the Republican, Democrat.
Yeah, oh yeah, I
ones,
remember we had, what, the elephant and the donkey or something like that, or?
Yep, yep. I got those.
Yeah,
So anyway, this I don't know where I picked it up, but I thought, oh,
We had a bunch
I
of
ran
them
across
out.
it this morning. And I thought, oh, I'll bring it in.
We haven't seen any Jim Beam decanters come through the store in years, so but let me see what I can find for you on it. I bet you I'll find something.
Yeah, look at my purse too. On here.
It's gonna show right up. There it is. Jan, you don't wanna know.
I know. I said, I'm gonna bring something that's worth nothing.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the scotch that was in it.
Yeah.
What'd he say?
I hope you enjoyed the scotch that was in it, because you could buy one on eBay for $10.
Which means a lot less. We know.
But,
Okay.
yeah, so that one unfortunately isn't worth too much.
Well, that's it. I was,
But no.
So I can
Yeah, they're,
put it in
I
the
think what
barn
it
sale.
is.
There you go.
Yeah, put it in the barn stuff for 40, somebody will buy it immediately, watch. But the reason why these things aren't worth as much as they should be worth is because everybody saved them, they're all still there. I mean, you didn't
love
drink it,
the-
throw it out like a Genesee beer bottle, you
No,
know?
the work that they did on it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, the dogs.
Yep.
They didn't do a cat, I don't think.
I don't
I
know.
haven't seen a cat.
Make sure you squeeze that one.
You can send it later.
Oh, we saw these pipes.
We were.
My brother loves old pipes.
If they're Bersham, and they
They're
are.
Bersham, yep.
Yeah, okay. Well, one is, you were right on one and I was right on the other.
So that's a nice pipe.
So this one is really cool.
Yeah, this comes off, so don't be worried. Yeah.
So this is really neat, depending on condition.
Conditions everything when it comes to these.
But
It's like
the,
clay. Meerschaum is like a clay material.
so of course it was used.
Yeah.
Okay, so the figural pipes like this is really cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it would represent not just people who collect pipes, but also Black Americana.
Yes, of course.
So that's where your draw is gonna be on something like this.
And from Fairlands, did you pick it up? I'm assuming, because it's.
I would say normal meerschaum pipes that are figural, they generally draw about 2 to 250. I think this, because of the Black Americana draw, I bet you at least double double that. Yeah,
That's a
that'd be
really
my
good
guess. I don't think you're into the, $1,000 range, but I think definitely double what a normal figure home meerschaum pipe would go for. So, yeah, it's a neat piece. That's actually really pretty. That's one of the better ones that we've seen.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot.
And we were debating earlier.
We saw it in the case, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you saw me bring it in, I was.
Well, yeah, your purse was sitting over here, and we walked by, I said, oh, check out these pipes. I didn't open it up, but it.
Yeah, well, I know, I shouldn't have left them there, but I was putting outside. So that comes up.
The old carved wood, those are a bit less, I mean, they're still desirable, but the fact that you have the case is cool as heck. Still well.
So I like the hunting dogish, you know.
But these are generally like $25 to $50 for the standard, yeah. But that's your nice piece right there. I wouldn't mind having an opportunity to make an offer on that if anytime you wanted to settle, you should stop in the shop sometime. We'll do a little more deeper research on it and make an offer if you're interested. It's just got a really neat look to it.
Yeah, it does, thank you. Thanks for the information.
Of course.
I got 2 more pieces. I have 2 more pieces.
Oh, boy.
There was
All
somebody
right,
else.
let's see
Did
it.
you have something over there? Two?
Has anybody got anything? Ain't nobody have to
No,
stand
but
up.
I'd like
Pretty
to.
loud, right?
Yeah. You gonna
Okay.
download them on my phone?
Here's 2 more.
Oh, let's pick up the necklace on Monday.
This
Everybody.
and this. My Art Deco with amber.
See, this is cool. I love amber.
We got lots of things.
Do you really?
Yeah, we went over when Lithuania first became free. Oh my God, it was cheap.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, that's something that we sell a lot of amber on our whatnot auctions. You know,
Do
a
you?
lot of it comes into the store, a lot of amber rings and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they pull like small brooches or rings with amber this size. They generally pull like
I have a
50,
friend
$60.
with quite a collection, so I will tell her about you.
Yeah, definitely. And this is that English,
This is silver, right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it should be.
And then this, is this silver too?
That should be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not gonna work. I'm
I'm
sure
sure
it
I-
is. I'm certainly sure it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's marked.
Oh, this,
Yeah, you got it. It's marked 800, so it's German silver.
okay.
Yeah, so it's probably, I mean, on whatnot, we probably.
You know, I have some red gold stuff.
Rose gold?
Yeah, rose gold.
Yeah, yeah, it's all the same.
It's the same.
It's just a coating, or different metals mixed in with the gold to taint it that color.
Oh,
Yeah. This one, they're not right person, it's that, what's that? That's what I'm talking
does it
about.
look rusty?
Yeah.
No?
What's that?
Rusty, does it look rusty or is it?
Oh, no, it's fine, it's definitely.
Silver. Thelma gave it to me. Remember Thelma?
Let's go, let's load up, hold on, give it a second. Yeah, he's gonna buy that necklace back.
I mean, I've known David since he's a teenager.
I'm showing them a silver pin. It's Art Deco with a piece of amber in it.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, whenever we do our live auctions, and we do jewelry, usually sterling silver, everybody's always asking for either amber or turquoise.
Really?
So, yeah, that southwestern Navajo turquoise jewelry is really hot right now. It's one of the hottest.
I think I got some turquoise.
Bring it in. Just give it 1 sec. Who's dead? Who's dead? Who's dead last time? I blame Jay. Sorry, we'll test it. But I'm pretty certain this piece is silver as well. I'm sure. Not seeing any markings, but I'm sure it is. So, yeah, again, the amber piece is probably $50, $60 and whatnot. Something like that is probably like 10 or 20.
Okay.
Cool.
That's a piece that Thelma gave it. I just wanted to let you know, Deb Oakley is here. And Deb and her friend, volunteers, put together that exhibit up there.
We wonder where that came from. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Isn't that
really
cool?
nice.
Yeah, we were talking about that when we
Very
came in
cool.
here.
They found all these rulers in the attic.
Oh.
And she probably can tell you what the thought process was. But I think the design is excellent,
Yeah,
very
it's
nice
awesome.
way of displaying.
As soon as we came in, we saw that, and we were like, where the heck, that wasn't here last time.
Yeah, that wasn't here last time.
And some gentleman told me he has to pay for a ruler now. Yes, true.
Nobody uses them free, that's for sure.
I
Nope.
I use it at home.
They used to.
Because,
Yeah, okay, I think, is there anybody else?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stamp collections.
Mhm.
Where in
Saturday.
Rochester?
There is literally one, a good friend of ours, his name is Joe Lansfame, he's a professor at RIT. He is kind of the go-to stamp guy for Rochester. He travels to all the stores like ours. He does it once a week. He's off for the summer. He's in our store religiously every Saturday, 1 o'clock. He is trustworthy, knowledgeable. He'll tell you exactly what you got. A little brash in the personality, but
I was gonna say, he could be a little,
this is
yeah.
junk, landfill.
right to the point, you know, so.
As long as you know.
Yeah, exactly. But if you do have stamps and you want to get them checked out or appraised, by all means, bring them in on a Saturday to our shop. Doesn't charge anything.
Okay.
He's a good guy. He'll tell you exactly what you got. And when you leave there, you'll know that he was being honest.
Saturday is about what time? did you
He's
say?
there at 1 o'clock.
One?
religiously, yeah, every week.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sounds good, thank you.
Yep.
Well, I've got some old stamps from over 100 years ago.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You just never know, man. I've seen him buy one stamp for $10,000, and I've seen him take boxes of stamps and
Okay.
tell them no value to them. So I mean, stamps are tough. Yeah.
I've got a book about that thick that somebody past in my family started.
Put together
back in
over the
early
years. Yeah.
1900s.
Yep.
There's stamps in there from countries I've never heard of.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the foreign stuff I heard on stamps is a little bit better than the American stuff.
Really?
So, yeah. A lot of the Asian stuff is good for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. So, yeah.
I'll do there.
Definitely. Yeah, just stop in. It's not, it doesn't cost anything, and he'll just.
Then
take
you
a
can
look
see
at
his
it.
museum in the
Yeah,
back.
right. Yeah, right.
Thank
good.
you all for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
This lady over here.
Just how
All right.
collectible is wrought iron aluminum? It's
Rod iron.
Oh,
aluminum.
hand hammered aluminum?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
The dishes, you know,
Yes.
cookies
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
all the
Remember when they
accessories
went
for dinner,
Oh, yeah.
hammered aluminum.
Okay, yeah.
So 20 years ago, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, we used to
Right.
find a lot of that stuff.
Back to the
back in the day.
30s.
Yeah, 20 years ago, everybody collected it. They displayed it in their kitchens. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
But as the
Like
time went
collections,
on, it just, they changed to like, what's that barn sale that, no.
Mackenzie Childs, that's.
You know, like Mackenzie Child and more
She's
modern
like
type of things, you know.
Forget Mackenzie Childs.
And that,
But it's all about decor and what people like today. I mean, I like old
I
stuff
think it'll
myself.
come back, because
Yeah.
some of that stuff is amazing. But,
I have some from my mother.
yeah, absolutely.
The continental pattern
Mhm.
with a chrysanthemum in it.
That's really pretty.
Yeah, the designs are amazing.
I like that when they put the time and effort into something
Yes.
back then.
They
That's
don't
what
do that
makes it
anymore.
important.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
But there's not enough people that respect that. to
How
make
about
it
shell
better.
boxes?
we've
When the
had
women
some of
used to
those
go to
come in.
Florida,
Yeah.
they used to make the
yeah.
boxes with shells,
The shells,
jewelry
yeah.
boxes with shells all over them. No?
I've
We've
never
taken
seen those
collections of
collectible.
jewelry and they come in for the ride, so I mean, we've never really sold too many of those.
Yeah, I know, it's just amazing what you could find,
Oh, yeah.
that people,
What's amazing is how
Entertain
something
themselves.
collectible goes all the way around and becomes collectible again.
Yeah.
So now I see my daughter walking around in rock and roll t-shirts from the concerts from when I was a
That
kid.
bothers the heck out of me.
I should have saved them.
You know how hard it is to find an original rock and roll t-shirt from a concert back in the 70s, like Black Sabbath or AC/DC? It's impossible. Now they're reproducing them, and it kills the value of the originals, and that happens in every market, so anything that's...
Well, we should have all kept them.
Oh,
Yeah.
Would have been loaded.
Yeah, they were worth a fortune, but now they're everywhere. Ask her what her favorite song is. She's wearing a Led Zeppelin shirt. What's your favorite song?
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Don't forget to come down and get the bottles.
I'm going to.